Hello, hello.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Wow, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Just to give you a heads up, fair warning, we are currently being live streamed on YouTube.
Sounds good.
So I'll probably, for the most part, keep everybody muted till 6:15 as I admit them in.
You recognize this background yet? I'm going to be interested to see if anybody can get this office.
You've stumped me on that one.
It's a British show, but I'm guessing Mike Irwin might get it if he's seen it.
Let me text him and ask him.
It's more in his wheelhouse than other people's, at least the comedy portion.
I'll see if he responds.
No worries if he doesn't.
Have you been able to enjoy any of the nice weather we've been having?
I have been getting out on the bike a lot. It's been nice. Past weekend, got a couple of nice 3-hour rides in. It's good.
That's great, yeah. I know the humidity, I run a couple times a week and the humidity drives me, it's not the easiest to run in with humidity.
It isn't. It's the nice thing about being on a bike. I usually have about like 72 ounces of water with me for like a 3-hour ride.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also moving a little faster, so you get that nice cool down from the wind.
Sure, that's great. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Nick, are you in a pawn shop?
Nope. It's another office background from a different TV show this time.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew's trying to figure it out.
Do we have a first letter of the show?
Sure. It's the letter I. Mm-hmm. I also told Andrew it's a British show. I think I told you that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I had the bubbles from Mike's text, but then they went away. So I'm wondering if he's looking and trying to figure it out.
Andrew, at the beginning of the meeting, I'm just going to announce that there are some changes on the agenda and that the public can view it on the website.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yes, and if Karen doesn't, I can screen share the agenda as well.
Yeah, that's what one of the parents asked. How come they don't screen share the agenda? So it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I gotta get.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I turned the cuckoo clock off, okay? And I just got to turn the other clock off. We have a lot of clocks that go off at this, like within a couple seconds of each other.
Oh,
That's okay.
Great. Turn the cuckoo clock off. I love it.
IT crowd.
Yep, he got it.
Ah, he's cheating. Is probably looking at.
I figured if anybody was going to get that one, it was probably going to be Mike. People have either sent him clips or he's watched it himself. The show is hysterical.
Yeah. Yep. So Kathy, I told Nick, I see Karen's joined us. She hasn't turned her video on yet. We are currently being live streamed right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's okay. We're not talking any board business, so it's totally fine.
Okay.
We had set it up a couple minutes early just to make sure everything was okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
You disabled me screen sharing, Andrew.
I'm going to change it right now.
Okay. It's always interesting to see where Nick is going to be.
Yep. Well, Mike Irwin had to, Andrew had to phone Mike Irwin for a phone a friend to get this one.
Oh, okay. What's that one?
From a British show called The IT Crowd.
Oh, okay. Still says I'm disabled.
Yeah, for some reason, Karen, it is not letting me, it's not giving me that option to, oh, hold on, here we go.
Let me know when.
Okay, you should be able to now. I was in the wrong section.
Okay. All right, where am I looking?
There you go.
You got it.
Okay.
So we'll need a few more board members to actually be able to open up the meeting.
Yeah, we need a quorum.
Right.
I think we're just all really early.
Hey, Andrew's sitting down. That's exciting because I'm never early. So
I don't know. You're always there ahead of me. So
I don't know. That's because I started here in the morning. That's it. That's the only reason. Trying to see if there's a better way for me to get this.
Kathy, will there be at least one more joining us so you could start the meeting at this time, or?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Here comes Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Amy.
Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Andrew, Susan Brownhill says her computer says waiting for the host to start the meeting.
Is she in? She probably went into the executive session one rather than the regular meeting.
Yeah, let me see.
That would be my guess.
Amy, did you send that one?
Yes, are you?
Okay, so is that just in my email or?
Yeah, it's in your email. I'll resend it right now to everybody.
I thought I was all prepared. I was all in this one. It's working. All right. I guess what
You
do
are. You got to this one.
do I just minimize or go? I don't know. Hold on.
All right, I just.
Well, you would
sent-
exit out of this one, Sarah, when it's time, and then just pull up your email and click the link to get into the other one.
Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Did you send that?
I just sent it to Susan. Joy has it already.
Okay.
Hold on.
We would only need one of them to be able to start the meeting. That would give us 5. No, I'm sorry. We would need 2 more to make it 5.
Right. Susan's in the wrong one right now. She's coming in.
Okay.
Amy, you're resending, you said?
I just sent it.
Fresh and hope for the best. Negative. Oh, I got it. I think.
It's a very cheerful sounding notification.
I just started using this today. It's the district one and the Mullica one instead of my work one. Oh wait, hold on. I have Mullica BOE meeting.
Here comes Joy.
I don't think that was the right one. Inbox. Google search.
And here comes Susan.
It's called Board Agenda. I sent it.
Oh, I got it.
Just okay.
Now. Okay.
Hello, can you hear
Hello.
me? Oh,
Yes, we can hear
Hi,
you and see
Susan.
you.
Is Joy in?
Joy
Yeah,
is in, yes.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay,
she's
okay.
muted.
I'm in.
Yep.
All right,
Hi,
thank
Joy.
Hi.
Amy, do you want me to go over just a few logistics and then Kathy can open the meeting, or do you want me to wait until after she opens the meeting?
Let's open the meeting first, and then we can go over that if we have 5.
Sure.
The requirements of the open public meeting law have been met, stating the date, time, place, and agenda, and filed with the township clerk, town hall bulletin board, news media, and the Atlantic County Superintendent of Schools. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Brownhill,
Here.
Mrs. Jacobo, Mrs. Kurtz. She's still here?
I'm here. I might be frozen, but I'm here.
Okay. Mrs. Mayone, Mrs. Quattrone, Mr. Roner,
Here.
Mrs. Werner,
Here.
Mr. Winterbottom, Mrs. Wild,
Here.
Mr. Weber.
Present.
I'm here, Mrs. Elko,
Present.
and there's nobody here from Washington.
Is Carmen waiting to come in? She said she's waiting to be let in. Do you see Carmen?
Um,
1, 2.
I do not see anybody in the waiting room. Perhaps she's in the other one.
Okay. Okay. May I get a motion and a second to resolve that the Mullica Township Board of Education shall meet in executive session for the purpose of discussing Andrew's evaluation?
Motion.
Second.
Probably about 35, 40 minutes.
And real quick, before you guys vote, I think Andrew had something he wanted to share.
Oh, no, I was just going to say logistically, for the board members that are going into executive session, you'll be logging out of this meeting, logging into the executive session meeting that was sent to you. And then when you're done with executive, you'll exit out of that one and re-enter this meeting again.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now.
And
Okay, we'll do it now.
Aye.
Okay. See you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Mark.
so Mark, you are, good evening. You're a conflicted board member. So for right now, until they're done with executive session, you can keep your audio muted and you can actually turn your video off if you wanted. Feel free to do whatever you need to do and just make sure you're back on just a minute or two before 7 so that we can open up the public portion.
All right, you got it.
That work. Thanks, Mark. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right, I'll see
6:21.
you. Yep.
Andrew,
And
there's a lot.
I'm gonna, go ahead.
No, I was just say there's lots of requisitions. Merrill was busy today. That's all.
Okay. So I'm gonna mute myself and turn my video off for now.
I'm gonna do
And
the
then
same.
I'll wait for a call from them to join executive.
And I'll just wait for you to pop in and say, time to come back. You're
I'll
muted.
send you a text.
Perfect. Thank you. Good luck.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. Excellent.
Everybody getting back in?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Kathy, I don't see Linda. Is she
Text her.
coming? And before we get started, it looks like I accidentally admitted people that were in the waiting room that aren't board members. So I will keep them muted and keep their video off. I did not realize that happened.
Angela and Carmen, were you in executive session?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
Carmen was.
I think Angela
I
was.
was not.
No, Angela was not.
no.
I just texted Linda.
She wasn't an executive, was she?
No, she was not.
Okay.
She's trying to get in.
Okay. Angela, do you have an idea what time you entered the meeting?
I think it was like 7:02.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Linda in yet?
No.
No.
Is the format of this where everyone can see us or people in the Zoom with us? What's this? How does this work this time?
We're live streaming on YouTube.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yep.
Sorry.
So they can watch that on there, and then the call-in number is displayed for them for public comment.
Okay.
And Karen's going to screen share the agenda with us.
Got it.
How does the agenda look from your standpoint?
Good.
It's good.
Good.
So Kathy, it's up to you if you want to start the meeting or if we want to wait another minute for Linda.
Okay, I just texted her again. I sent her the code from the update.
We haven't come out of executive yet.
Yeah, we're still in executive. So maybe Scott should be out.
Linda's having laptop issues.
Wait, did you guys say you're still in executive? You want me to jump out?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
We can come out of executive, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Can I get a motion and a second to resume the public portion of the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who was second?
I think I did, Carmen.
Okay, thank you. I can't see, because I'm sharing the screen, I can't see who's voting.
At this time, I'd like to do the flag salute. Pledge allegiance.
Flag
Of the
United States of America,
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There we go.
We go.
Is Linda in yet? She said she's having laptop issues. What could? Okay.
She has not come up on the waiting room, no.
Put on her phone.
I just sent her the code again so she can get in.
Oh, good.
Okay. Now we're gonna do Board of Education business. Any old business?
No,
Okay. Any new business?
no.
Okay. Can I have committee reports, please? Curriculum?
Who's gonna be first?
Yep, you are, Carmen.
I am, okay. So we discussed all the math updates with the new programs, math programs. Teachers seem to be happy. We also discussed the parent survey that went out for the student needs this summer. We talked about the LEAP grant with Port Republic and Galloway. We also discussed the preschool approval, which was approved, and we discussed whether we should continue with Zoom meetings or not. And also, we discussed a little bit about the start of the school year and the committees that were formed and what it could or might not look like in September.
Okay.
Also about graduation, we talked about graduation a little bit.
Thank you. Nick, finance?
Yep. We had a really long meeting, so I'm just going to go over the high points. We discussed the water treatment plant and an update, the CARES Act, possible state aid cut and what we're looking at for next year. The fact that the preschool program's been approved, but next year's expansion we're putting on hold. We got an update about the last live stream with Zoom and what happened, as well as discussing the power outage that happened on June 3rd and some possible avenues that we may take to try and prevent losing power to the school, especially with students having to learn from home. We discussed substitute rates, potential LEAP grant viability survey with Port Republic that they're commissioning and for us to be a part of. Negative lunch balances, and what we're going to be doing with the summer meal service, or at least potentially what we could do with the summer meal service. We discussed an email from a concerned parent, along with end of year discussions, and we also got an update on the retention pond and the parking lot. Really, really long meeting, but a lot of really good stuff in there.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.
Joy, personnel negotiations?
We reviewed our special education posting and where we stand with that. And we also went over the LEAP grant with Port Republic, the preschool approval, and if we're going to continue the Zoom meetings. And we also discussed the end of year of graduation, possibility July 6th in-person graduation if things don't change or what happens. But we had a reverse parade on the 18th and end of year celebration for the 8th graders on the 17th.
Okay. Thank you. We had a county meeting on June 9th. Would someone like to report on that attended? Joy or Angela, did you attend? No, okay. Joy?
I attended, but I didn't take any notes on it. I don't have any notes for it.
Okay. I know the county superintendent spoke a lot about what's been going on with the pandemic.
Yeah, I would say that our Atlantic County is in good shape compared to some of the other counties, and he did mention that quite a bit. And I know they discussed there were a lot of children over the state who did not do well over the pandemic because of not being able to access any of the information or with laptops or Chromebooks or anything like that. So that was kind of a big thing with school boards trying to get this straightened out so that all the children are able to get what they need. And we're lucky. Atlantic County did very, very well.
Okay, okay. There is a delegates meeting coming up on June 27th. I believe you and Angela, are you signed up for the delegates meeting?
I did not sign up, but you just reminded me to sign up.
Okay, there's a link under the New Jersey School Board to do that. It's going to be all virtual. And
Yeah.
just so everybody knows, could you guys please fill out your board evaluations? I would appreciate it. I sent a link out to everyone that didn't complete it yet. Okay.
The self-evaluation. Everybody can do that one,
The
right?
board
Kathy?
self-evaluation, yes, yeah. Any correspondence?
No.
Okay. Any update?
I'll just give a quick update on two items. As far as the sewer plant and leach field projects, those bids were sent to the paper, so they'll be advertised starting on Friday. And we're hoping, the plan is to have a pre-bid meeting first week in July with bid openings July 15th. And then we are hoping optimistically that we can have contracts for approval at the July 22nd board meeting. So that would be the optimistic timeline. And I also wanted to congratulate our board president, Kathy, on achieving master board member status from the New Jersey School Boards Association. So congratulations, Kathy, on achieving that. That's quite an accomplishment, and a lot of work went into that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I want to thank Joy. She mentored me when I came on the board, and she encouraged me to attend as many courses that I could. And I do appreciate that, Joy, very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now we'll go on for the recommendations of the superintendent, the monthly reports. Any questions about them? Okay.
Karen,
we're
can you
gonna
just
open-
scroll down a little on that so in case like something jogs my brain? Oh, there we go. Okay. I looked at them. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't
Okay.
forgetting. I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll move on to public comment on the agenda items only. The meeting will now be open to the public for comments only on specific agenda items. If your comments pertain to students, personnel, litigation, and negotiations, we would ask that you see the superintendent after the meeting, since the board does not generally discuss such items in public. Please state your name and address and limit your comments. The telephone number to call in is 1-929-205-6099. Anybody in the waiting area or calling? No.
The only person I have in the waiting room is Scott, our supervisor of curriculum and data. Amy, am I okay to let Scott in, or should I not do that? I don't know.
You can let Scott in. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I realized I was muted. That's your
No,
choice.
it's okay. All right, thank you.
No one's called in, so we can continue on to the minutes. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
to
Second.
approve The May 27th, 2020 regular session minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, I had to step out real quick.
That's okay. Just approve the minutes from the last meeting,
Sounds good. I as well.
okay? Should I wait till the agenda comes up to where we are or just continue?
Here we go. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, Karen. Okay. Recommendations of the superintendent, personnel. Can I get a motion and a second that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve items 7B through 7R?
Motion.
Second,
We said Susan?
Sarah.
Sarah, Sarah.
Sorry, I should say Sarah second.
We have this.
Are there any questions? Or Andrew, do you want to highlight anything? Or touch base with us on anything?
Sure. I was trying to find my position in my, on my notes. Sorry about that. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight the two new hires that we have this evening for next year. Katrina Davis, special education teacher, and Jenna Erling, fifth grade teacher. We are super excited to bring them on board, and I know the staff has worked with Jenna previously and is thrilled to have her back. And Katrina comes to us from Buena Regional. She was very highly recommended. And so we're excited to have both of them on board in a special education role and a fifth grade math teacher role. So we're excited about that. The rest of the items on there are pretty standard for yearly appointments. The only other one was the additional summer learning program that was mentioned in the committee reports. And then the only other thing I wanted to highlight was the math program, which was also mentioned in committee reports. But a lot of work went into that by the teachers as well as Scott. So I wanted to acknowledge that, and we're excited to bring those new materials on board.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Before we do that, can I just mention that Pete Quiles is retiring after 25 years with the district.
Okay.
So he'll be retiring in October.
Yes, thank you, Karen.
Roll call, Kathy.
Yes, please.
Mrs. Brownhill,
Yes.
Mrs. Kurtz,
Yes.
Mrs. Jacobo,
Yes.
Mrs. Mayone,
I abstain from 7H and 7K. But can I do yes for the rest?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I can't see, is Mrs. Quattrone still not here?
No, I'm
She's
here.
Oh, hi, Mrs.
Hi.
Quattrone.
Yes, but I abstained from 7M.
Mr. Roner,
Yes.
Mr. Winterbottom,
Yes, but I believe I also have to abstain from M.
Mrs. Wild,
Yes.
Mrs. Werner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. We're going to move along to number 8, recommendations of the superintendent, curriculum, student matters. Can I get a motion and a second that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve items 8B through 8F?
Motion.
Second.
So just to, for clarification for the board, I had mentioned this in my update. The school security drill statement of assurance, that is annually due by June 30th. We were advised by the county office just today in a meeting to hold off on submitting that. They're waiting for clarification from the Department of Ed on exactly how we are to fill that form out. So once we obtain that guidance, I will submit it. But as of this evening, we have been advised not to submit it until the additional guidance is available from the state.
I get a roll call, please?
Wait, I have a question real quick. It's one of those nitpicky things, but under 8B, it says Danielson 2013 blah blah blahs for pre-K through grade 2. And then it says the third point says Danielson Framework 2007 as teacher evaluation. Should that last one say from grades 3 to 8? Just to be clear, or is that also applying to the pre-K teachers as well? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do see that, Susan. If it's okay, we will make a note of that and I'll follow up with Mrs. Lesher to get clarification,
Okay,
and Scott as well.
thank you.
Sure.
The questions? Roll call?
Mrs. Brownhill,
Yes.
Mrs. Kurtz,
Yes.
Mrs. Jacobo,
Yes.
Mrs. Mayone,
Yes.
Mrs. Quattrone,
yes,
Mr. Ronert,
Yes.
Mr. Winterbottom,
Yes.
Wild,
Yes.
Mrs. Werner.
Yes. Now we'll move to number 9, recommendation of the superintendent board policy. Can I get a motion and a second that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve item 9B?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call?
Mrs. Brownhill,
Yes.
Mrs. Kurtz,
Yes.
Mrs. Jacobo,
Yes.
Mayone,
Yes.
Mrs. Quattrone,
yes,
Mr. Ronert,
Yes.
Mr. Winterbottom, Mr. Winterbottom,
He's on mute.
Yes.
Mrs. Wild,
Yes.
Mrs. Werner.
Yes. Number 10, recommendation, the business administrator, board secretary. Can we get a motion and a second that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the business administrator, approve items 10B through 10N?
Motion.
Second. Sarah.
These are just our normal monthly and end of year resolutions. The transfer of current year surplus to reserve accounts, that's approved annually with a maximum amount, and the actual amount won't be determined until after the audit is done. The bid thresholds went up, so the board's required to approve that. There's several contracts and tuition contracts, including the SRO contract. And we have the grant application and approval for IDEA, technology, disposal, that type of thing. They're all pretty standard. One of the things I'd like to point out is lunch prices are required by the state of New Jersey to increase to $3.05. I have not heard back from the state on whether the board can charge $3 and pay the difference. I'll reach out to them again. And the other is that the board is forgiving any negative lunch balances in light of the COVID situation. And that's it. Everything else is pretty standard.
Will a letter go out to the parents that owe the money for lunch, telling them that it was?
Yes,
Okay, forgiven?
yes,
Okay,
we'll send something out.
okay.
Oh, Karen, also, sorry if this is not the appropriate time. I just remembered it because we're talking lunch. I saw some parents have commented on Facebook. They don't know what's happening. If their 8th graders still had a lunch balance, what happens to that money?
That was the other thing I thought of this week. I'll send a notice home that says there is money on their account, and if they have another student in the district, we can switch it over. Otherwise, we can cut them a check.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, for the forgiven balances, can we just make sure people stop getting alerts that they owe money? Since we just approved that, like they're getting them in Power School and like.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Karen? Not, can I get a roll call, please?
Okay, Mrs. Brownhill,
Yes.
Mrs. Kurtz,
Yes.
Mrs. Jacobo,
Yes.
Mrs. Mayone,
Yes.
Mrs. Quattrone,
yes,
Mr. Roner,
Yes.
Mr. Winterbottom,
Yes.
Mrs. Wild,
Yes.
Mrs. Werner.
Yes. And now we'll move on to item 11, which is the public comment or general topics. This meeting will now be open to the public for comments. If your comments pertain to students, personnel, litigation, or negotiations, we would ask that you see the superintendent after the meeting, since the board does not generally discuss such items in public. Please state your name, address, and limit your comments, and the phone number. Is the phone number still the same?
Yes.
The first one. The phone number is 1-929-205-6099.
We'll give it a minute, but as of right now, I do not have anybody in the waiting room.
Okay.
I don't have anybody in the waiting room.
Okay. All right. We'll go to number 12. Our next board meeting date is scheduled for July 22nd at 6 p.m. And this meeting is going to be a board goal setting meeting. Susan, are you still on PTA?
Enough that I can give an update.
Okay.
They had elections at the last meeting, so Jen Williams is now the PTA president. Andrea Figley is staying on as the secretary. Those were the two positions that were running this year. Kate Rizzo is still the VP, and Jessica Leach is still the Leak rather is still the treasurer, because those positions were not up for election. So I know that they were supposed to have a meeting, I think this week or last week, with administration about planning for next year. But I'm not on executive committee anymore, so I don't know how that meeting went. So I'm sure we'll know by our next board meeting.
Okay. Andrew, the Education Foundation?
Nothing has changed since last month, so we're still in a little bit of a holding pattern.
Okay. Okay. We're not going back into executive. May I get a motion and second to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second. Nick beat me because of technology.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Hopefully next month we'll be meeting in public, correct?
We're hoping for that. We're going to keep our fingers crossed and hope for no changes from the governor restricting things again, and hoping that things loosen up a little bit. So yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
It's nice seeing everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Good seeing you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.